Good evening and welcome to the SHAC. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity Craft here in the UK, and we're set to do some colouring. We've got that beautiful bouquet of flowers that we're adding to the vase this evening. So I'm hoping that we have some friends in the building. Grace, our daughter Grace, is keeping you company in the room if you have any questions. And I just want to check the volume so that it's not too loud. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll do that. Yeah, it's a little bit loud. Let me just pull that down a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. That's better. Not so loud. It's easier for me to adjust than for you. There we go. I think that's better. Sound is great, says Grace. Thank you very much, dear girl. And come on in. Jane Telford, first in the building. Nice to have your company, Jane. And how are you? And how is the weather? And are you enjoying the sunshine? And are you coping with the chaos in the world? It's a little bit strong, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I know. And the only thing that I know to do is to keep calm and craft. Keep calm, get out of my head, get with my hands, control the controllable. Hello, Ken. Nice to have your company too. And so we live to fight another day. We had a good day today. Took Dave to the hospital for physio, and the physiotherapist was very pleased with his progress. So that was good. I think he overcooked it a bit this week because he went to work a few days. And I think maybe he did too much. And so we kind of cut back a little bit today, and I worked from home too. So that was nice. I've been busy. What did I do today? Oh yeah, I did the stencil club project for May. Really nice stencil. It's a twofer. Beautiful. It reminded me a little bit of those leafy overlay. You know, the leafy overlay stencils that we did with the woo-wah stencils last year. Similar to that, but more delicate. Really lovely. Yeah, very nice indeed. Come on in, friends. It's good to have your company. And what else did I do? I made a little pinch pot for Dave for his meds. That's really nice to make little pinch pots. I finessed my little birds because I made a couple of birds again for the open days. So I did that. They're drying nicely on top of the Aga. Yeah. You know, I think that's it. You know, it's that physician heal thyself. When my head's in a spin, I can only speak for myself. But when my head's in a spin, I have to clean my kitchen. You know, I have to get some semblance of order in the house, and then I just need to get creative, make things, and I find that is good for the head. What about you? These are very uncertain times, you know. It's a real roller coaster at the moment. And, you know, our opinions are our opinions. They change not a thing, you know. And so we circle the wagons, we stick close together. I'm trying to think of ways to create more community-based things, you know, for some of you who need more company, you know. I'm working on a few other things. Be good. I was talking to Grace about it earlier. Got a little plan, something that might work. So we'll see if that works. And other than that, we just stick to the SHAC on Mondays and on Thursdays. And then we'll see. If it gets a little bit too much out there, then maybe we'll do a bit more together, you know? I'll just read the room. I know how it is. So anyway, let's have a look. Good. Let's finish these flowers, shall we? Let's get started, and we can always chat. I know that you're all chatting together because we're doing the alphabet, and we're on V for vase. It's the year of colour, and it's also, we're still working on the alphabet, which we started on last year. And we're working our way through. We're already on V. And so we did a vase, didn't we? Just to recap, let's have a look. And these are the vases. So we just, I don't know if you remember, but we decided what shape vases we like, whether we like ceramics or glass vases. And then we had a look at some of the stencils that we've got at Clarity. If you need a shape, this is a great shape. I like this one. It's good for flowers, you know. It's good for the shape, isn't it? See, I like that one. And so then it's all about, how do you get symmetry? Well, usually you get symmetry by drawing on the, cutting on the fold. And then if you cut on the fold, I tore this one, silly me, but it still works. And what we decided, just to recap, we decided that when you see, like these vases here, they don't actually have an outline, but when you take a spot on sponge and you drag the color in off tracing paper, it glides, like it's like working on glass. Whereas if you work on copy paper, most of the ink ends up sort of absorbing into the copy paper. Which ink did I use? I used Shadow Grey, an archival ink, which is really just perfect. And another nice effect was that I really like that as well. So it's an optical illusion, and the eye just tells you where the other half is, doesn't it? I rather like that too. There's a lot of room for play in there, you know. I can see that's very arty, isn't it? And so then what we were doing was we were using the archival ink. We used the aperture in the tracing paper with a spot on sponge to drag ink through, and that gave us that really nice, it's not got an outline. The infill gave us that kind of 3D outline effect. You can see how we did it there. It's just by dragging the colour in. And then we sketched, then we took another piece of tracing paper, and we went like that, and we sketched flowers like so. So then we sketched some nice flowers like that. And the way that we did our composition, we did all this on Monday. We did a couple of like circles, then we did a couple of tubular, like lilies, a couple of leaves, just a little bit of balance, bit of bear grass, larkspur, monkshood, and so on. And we got ourselves a really nice bouquet. And then we've got to transfer that to there. So in order to transfer that to there, I've got a choice. I can turn that round, but then the flowers are not actually where I designed them in the vase. Now I've turned the vase round, so I'm losing a leaf. So what I realized then was that I could take this, and of course I need to use is it HB? Yeah, that's not the one. An HB pencil, right? I could take my HB pencil, and then when I transferred, so now I'm applying the lead, if you like, to the back. And when I was doing that, I thought, well, let's not waste an opportunity. So I used, I think I did this is an old one. I think I did, look, I had a couple of these. Where's the one that I used? I think it's here. Yeah, there. So then what I did was I drew it like that, and then I turned it round like so, and then I transferred the lead to that side. So now, of course, I can flip it again, and I know that there's lead on that side. So now I can actually add my flowers to the vase on that side. Do you see? So now I could just go back the other way, and I can flip my vase. Hang on a minute. I'll just fold this back the other way again so it stays in place. There you go. Like so. Then I'll slot my flowers in there like that. And now I can pop my flowers back into the vase, like so, okay, like that. But, so I could do that. That's definitely a project good to go. And it's waiting for me. But what I wanted to do was take the flowers that I just transferred. Bear with me a second. Where did I put them? Here they are. So I transferred them, you know, when I was putting the graphite on the back. So now I've got that, right? So I've got that, and then now I'm going to practice my colouring in on this. This is my practice, one for test, one for best. So that's like that. Turn it over. That's ready to go on there. But now I'm going to practice my colouring on that one. Makes sense? Oh, you know it does. So I was thinking, just like with the vase, rather than pen it and use a black outline, which, yeah, when you look at a bunch of flowers, it doesn't have a black outline, does it? So let's create depth and a nice bunch of flowers without a black outline, and we'll just use watercolor. There you go. Let's do some watercolor, nice and soft. I've already done one, a bit smaller, but what's cool, right? If you get back on the bus with me just for a minute, what you'll see is that, say, I've already done this one here, right? But what I can do now, I've done that, I can go back in with my vase and I can add my vase afterwards, you see? So if I wanted to tuck the vase in underneath the flowers, then all I've got to do is mask off that little bit, which wouldn't be hard to do. I could show you how to do that in a minute if we get to this, right? Because I've already done the colouring on there, and it's quite, you know, it's no masterpiece, but it's a nice normal looking bouquet, isn't it? It's what you would get in your house. So you can either put the vase there and add a few stalks, or you can move the vase up and then have the front flowers overlapping the vase. So we can decide that later. But what we're going to do now is use this to do some colouring in. Just easy street, okay? Immer mit der Ruhe. Let's just keep it light, keep it flowing. No stress. Travelling gently, as we always say here in the shack. It's important, you know. Worry doesn't work. And that's the truth of it. Worry doesn't work. You know. And worry is self-perpetuating. The more you worry, the more you worry. The more you worry, the more you worry, the more you worry. You know, and so it goes on. So let's just agree that worry doesn't work, and we'll just colour in a few flowers instead. And you may say, well, that's just ignoring the problem. And you are exactly right, because I can't do anything about that, because worry doesn't work. But what I can do is keep my head straight, keep smiling, and help you do the same. There you go. And then I can go indoors, because Dave, bless him, he found some honeycomb ice cream in the big freezer. But the big freezers really, it does its job very well. So it's like a brick, this ice cream. And I reckon by the time we're done here, that honeycomb ice cream is going to be so lovely. So I'm, in the back of my head, I'm already looking forward to my honeycomb. I do like a bit of honeycomb ice cream. What's your favourite flavour? What's your favourite flavour ice cream? When I was pregnant with Gracie, my favourite flavour was mango. It's all I wanted. Mango sorbet. We lived in Nuremberg, and all I ate was mango sorbet, mango sorbet, mango sorbet. And peaches. I ate peaches. Not peach ice cream, fresh peaches. That was it. Did you know that, Grace? Did I ever tell you that? Mango sorbet. Do you like mango? I bet you do. Fresh peaches and mango sorbet. And God help anybody that went near me peaches at work. I always had a great big bowl of peaches on my desk. Anybody even looked at them, I was like Gollum. No, they're mine. Yeah, did you know that, Grace? Okay, so I've got my sharp pencil and I've got my, what do I need to do this job? I need a couple of little bits and pieces. Are you going to hang out with me or are you actually going to do the job with me? I'm going to just show you some tricks. I'm not going to create a masterpiece. I'm going to travel gently. And then I'm going to leave the masterpiece to you. So we need pergaliner pencils. Pergaliner pencils. I've actually been in touch with the factory in Seoul, in Korea, that makes our pencils. And they've had these terrible fires. So we've been in touch with them because we're running out of pergaliners, the truth is. And so we've been in touch with them, but they're in such a pickle with the fires, you know, as if that weren't enough. You know, you've got earthquakes there, you've got Trump having his little frenzy, and then you've got fires and, oh, it's just everywhere you look at the moment, isn't it? And so not being able to buy pergaliners is really, really low on the priority list, you know? It really is. Bless that family and those people. So let's have a look. We need, but we're using pergaliners, and I'm sure that you've all got them. I'm using the watercolor end, the A for Aqua ones, okay? I'm just watching Too Shattered to Do Anything. I wish I could do the same thing, Clive. You just watch and enjoy it. I tell you what I might have to do is change the batteries because I can see that little lights flashing at me. Let's get started and then I'll change the batteries. Okay, mix mats. I'm going to use the water mix. I mean, they're the same. They're the same. We just put that on there for your convenience. Okay, so I'm going to use a mix mat. You need the side that's got a bit of purchase. You can feel it. One side's smooth and one side's got a bit of tooth, if you like. Okay. So you need the side that's got a bit of tooth, and then we need some watercolor pencils. So the watercolor ones are the ones with the black writing. Okay. Yeah, so much going on in the world, you know. My heart goes out to the people in Seoul. You know, would you believe that as well? God. Right, yes, you would. So we would need white. We're going to go with white because the flowers require a bit of white. I'm going to go with I tell you why I'm taking them out of the box now, because I have a tendency to always go towards the oil-based pencils, the B pencils. So I'm going to just get the ones I want now, and then it won't be a problem. I'm going to go with my pinks. I might go a little bit of that one. I'm going with this kind of bouquet. I think green wise, I like that bluey green, that sort of cedar green. I'm going to go with those three. That just about got them all out. What I'm avoiding, which is what I usually go to, is the blues, funnily enough. I don't really want to bother with the blue. I'm always going for blue and teal. Gracie says she likes mangoes, but not as much as gherkins. Now gherkins was another thing that I really liked when you were on the way, Grace. Love gherkins. I still do. You know, I don't know, this is for our friends at home. Have you ever seen those gherkin jars by Kuhne? Kuhne, K-U with a little umlaut, H-N-E. Kuhne is a German brand. And sometimes you can get their barrels. They're that big. They're like that, right? And when I know Grace is coming home, we go to the wholesaler and you can buy Kuhne barrels of gherkins, 4 of them. 1, 2, like that. Fill the back of the car with gherkins. That kid, that young lady, will polish off a barrel of Kuhne Gurken, right, in one sitting. She does. It's like, don't even bother putting the lid back on. There you go. She says, I ate a whole jar of Kuhne last week. The store only had one. She's bad for it. Mayonnaise, Kuhne Gurken. There's a lot of German in Grace, you can tell. Mayonnaise, Gurken, And mango. Nice. Kesar. Okay, come on, stop larking about, Grace. Let's do some colouring in. Right, I'm left-handed, so put it on that side. And then I need a water brush. So I'll see if there's any water left in that one. That'll do. And a little bit of paper towel. A little bit of paper towel. Just that helps me control how much water I use. I'll squish it down a bit. There's not much on there. That's nice. That's just perfect for this job. Okay. Right, that's that, that's that. So the first thing we want to do, I suggest, let's have a look at this. So I was fiddling around with this today. I wasn't pleased with it, so I kept titivating, which is probably not so clever. Right, I'm going to go with the yellowy, ivory coloured flowers. So if you use that canary yellow, you're going to get some right daffodilly yellow, right? So this is why these are called mix mats, because you can mix the colours. Put a bit of yellow in down there, right? And you can feel it's got a bit of purchase. So it just grabs a bit of the pigment. And then we'll take the white, A1, and we'll add the white as well. So that will change the colour. And when you realise that you've got, say, 20 colours, and I know you think, oh, they're boring, you know. The thing is, though, that when you use your mix mat, and you start to blend the different colours, a little bit of blue and a little bit, you know, a little bit of blue and a little bit of green and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. When you start blending the colours in, then you realise you've got thousands of different blends, you know. Beautiful, actually. So, C for colour. Right, let's take one of these pens and I'm going to pop that at that end so that it's a bit longer. And I'll put some water up there. I've got a bit of green going on here, haven't I? I was obviously on the leaves, but that's okay. Right, so let me put a bit of water. See, it's water soluble. And then if I add a little bit of the, I've got hair. Right, so then I add a little bit of, see, and if I squeeze, it's washy, really washy. So if I want to, what I'm going to do is make it really washy, look, really creamy and washy. And then I'm just going to, let's call this a glaze, right? We're just going to add a little bit of water to that area. Let's do one area at a time. And you'll see, all you're going to do is just add a bit of water. And we're doing it quite, it's water, it's a wash, right? It's called a glaze when you do watercolour. And you're just putting down a little bit of colour like that. And then once you've got that colour down, that you can see it kind of, it just sits on top once you get enough going. And this is just stencil card. It's nothing. It's not watercolor paper. Right. And then once you've got that, if you then grab a little bit more, see, I'm just pulling in a little bit more of the yellow. Yeah. So then we can just drop a little bit in there and it will just, it just spreads, right? You can literally pop it in there and the glaze will just let it just move. It won't go out beyond the glaze. It won't go out beyond where you put the undercoat, if you like. You see, it just stays inside. Let's do the other one so you understand it again. It's just basic, really, right? You could do water there with nothing else, just water. But I feel I want to put a little bit of, just a little bit of white down with a tiny bit of yellow so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Otherwise it's just, you know, painting with water is, it gets interesting. Right, so we just pop that colour in, you see, and you just grab the water and you just, thing about these water brushes is they only when I squeeze them, then it'll release, but they're very, very good quality, I must say. Right, and I'm going to just grab a bit more of the yellow and I'm going to pop, seeing how it just sits. If this were a real dark green, you could see it would just pop and explode like a cloud inside there, which is quite nice to do. Okay, so we're playing it safe. We're going with a real nice ivory yellow colour, and that will dry quite light as well. And then once we've done that, we can have another cup of tea. Once we've done that, what I have learned when I've done watercolor courses, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't have a degree in art. I have a degree in languages. I don't have a degree in art. I can say I can't paint in about 4 different languages. The point is, I have done some courses. And when I have done courses and I learned about the glaze and so on, one of the most important things that I learned is not to overcook it, not to overdo it, not keep going in again and again and again. So you put your glaze down, you put your undercoat in, then you let it dry. And if you don't let it dry, then the next layer, it doesn't work very well. It just disappears. So you're making more work for yourself, if you see what I mean. So that's worth bearing in mind when you're doing this kind of work, that you just move to the next color. So let's have a look here. All right, so we'll let them dry, and let's go, while we're letting them dry, while we're on the yellow, let's look at the greens. We'll do the pinks last, because the yellow and the green are definitely in the same sort of family, aren't they? So if we had a little bit of yellow on the paintbrush, remember I'm starting with the lightest colour first. I think I'll travel to these 2 leaves here because they look quite yellow. So I think I must have done the same thing before. I'm going to just squeeze out a little bit more, like so. I like doing this. Where are my leaves? There's one up there. There we go. So we'll just put the glaze down first. There we go. That'll do. And you don't have to soak it, but it needs a carrier. It needs a little bit of a wash. Right, that'll do. So we'll pop that in. Let's get an undercoat going. That'll do. And then we'll put another one on that one there. I'm going to make it come to me. There you go. Okay, let's just add a bit of coloured water, really, isn't it? That'll do. Okay. How are you? You all right? The crazier the world gets, the more I start withdrawing to the back of the cave and start doing artwork. Yesterday I moved into the kitchen and started doing hand building. I didn't want to be alone in the garage doing pottery, but I didn't want to sit and watch the telly either. Oh, she's difficult. And so right now I'm going to add a little bit of green. So I'm not going in where the water is. I'm going underneath. I wonder if I put a bit of white. Let me see if I put a bit of white. Just bear with me a second, and I'll get a bit of white card or something. And if I pop that under the mix mat, I wonder if it shows you more what I'm actually doing. Yeah, does it? Oh, mensch. Does that show you? It will in a minute when I start with the darker colours. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, though. Seriously, folks, I need to change this battery, otherwise nothing's going to go right. So let's just pop that there, sit that there, so you can have a look at what I've done, right? And I'm just going to change the battery. I'm going to disappear for a second, okay? You there? I think I've done something really stupid now. Now, what have I done? Okay. I think I put the old ones back in again. Sorry, people. Oh, it's been a long day. Right. Okay. Go again. I think I'm back. Am I back? Sorry about that, friends. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. I completely spaced that earlier. There you go. All right, I think we're good to go now. Now we've got the sound, haven't we? Please, Grace, could you let me know? Or is it still not working? Because I see back now. Thank you very much. So Lillian Tilly's saying no sound. Is that delayed or is it Lillian? It should be good now. And you're back. Thank you, Ken. Okay, right. So now let's go to the green. Let's go to the green leaves, and let's start there. And I'll put a little scribble. Let's have a little. We'll put a scribble of that green, and a scribble of the dark green. That's more of the. See, that colour's more for the. Is it eucalyptus? We talked about it on Monday, didn't we? But I think I'll put a bit of white in there. So now I've got lots of mixes now. I've got the dark green as well. What colour is that? It's another green. Pop that one there. Nah, that's not the right green. Okay, so we've got lots of different greens going on, and we've got a goodly amount of neutral. Right, so we'll put that white in, and now we're going to, I think we'll pull into this colour. Let's go into this one here. For this particular leaf, let's go in here. But I think that we've almost, the glaze has dried. We might have to go again on this, see if it works. Okay, neutral. Right, light, dark. Right, let's just go in here. Let's just add a little bit of that darker. It's a wash, but it's gentle. There you go. Just pop a bit of that in there. And it's a kind of a bit darker, but not too bad. There we go. That's quite nice, isn't it? So we've got something to go to. And then we'll add a bit more. And now we'll see, now we've got the glaze. So now we could just pop a little bit of depth in there. A bit of that darker colour along that baseline. Nice. That'll do nicely. Thank you very much. There you go. Light, dark, light, a little bit of light in there. Depth. Right. Light, dark. See, now it's because it's wet. I can't get in there now. So I just have to wait until it dries. But that'll be all right. Good enough. There you go. Cool. That'll do, friends. Right, now for that other colour though, the is it eucalyptus we were talking about? It's this colour I'm after. This one. So we'll just go to that that one there, and let's just mix this one up as well. That's the colour there. See? We'll put a little bit of that white into that colour. Here we go. Now that's that colour, isn't it? It's that perfect, that eucalyptus-y colour. So I've got the depth there for it as well. Thing is though, you only want little tiny bits for this. So it's this bit here, this. So you're just going to put a little glaze of that colour in. And we're just going to run that through these little dots here. I think it's called eucalyptus. It's what's in all the bouquets when you get your flowers. My brain's a little bit foggy today, I'm afraid. Which nothing will help except an early night, and that's what we're going to do. Bit of honeycomb ice cream, and then off to bed. Because tomorrow's a big day. I'm launching, so yeah. So that's the other thing I've got to get my head around, and I'm really hopeful that you'll approve of this. We're launching it. We've already made it available on the website. I think Paul did that before he went off to Hobby Maker, because he's on Hobby Maker tomorrow. But at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm on my own, and I'm launching. Right now we need that little darker colour there, a little slightly darker colour. Okay, that's it. And then we're just going to drop a little bit of depth along the lower part of that. This would look nice. Yeah, so I'm launching a new 1, 2, 3 course, and it's for myself, and I'm really hopeful that you'll take it up, because I think it's going to be really fun, and you know, in keeping with what we were talking about earlier about traveling gently, I didn't want to overexert myself, because if I'm stressing, then it's no good. If the teacher's stressed, then that's not going to work, is it? So let me just come over a bit. I'm off the page. And so what I was going to tell you was that I'm launching this 1, 2, 3 course. Now, do you remember the landscape masks? We've had quite a lot of people kind of say that you've bought it all. You bought the trees, you bought the masks, but having a little bit of trouble making it look like mine. And it's like, then I see other masterpieces on Facebook, and I think, well, she's got the drift. But a lot of people have bought it and are not really using it and not taking advantage of the loveliness. And I thought, right, I know what to do, because I'll really enjoy it myself. Look, see how nice that is. Don't want to do more than that. That's it. And I thought, well, I'll tell you all about it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and I'll show you. We've put a lot of work into this, but basically it's available from now, and it's a 1, 2, 3 course. And I thought it'd be nice if we hang out. It'll be 3 Wednesday afternoons in May. Like at the moment, a lot of you are hanging out with Louise and Paul for the 1, 2, 3 foundation course for Groovy. So I'm going to start one, and it isn't well, actually I can't say it hasn't to do with the jelly plate, because the third afternoon does involve a gel plate. But I thought the best thing would be for us to start, for a lot of you, the circle and this inner kind of platform that we're building for online courses is new. And so I thought it would be good if we just start traveling gently, ease our way into it. We're going to do a 3-parter using those landscape masks, using those tree stamps. See, because then I thought a lot of you have already got all that, which would be great. So you don't have to spend money on that. You can spend money on the course instead, and I really appreciate that. But the other thing is that it's great when you've got the stuff, and then you get it out the cupboard, and and I'll show you loads of different tricks. So the object of this 1, 2, 3 course is to show you how to use the masks, how to blend color, how to use the masks and modify them, how to do reflection stamping, how to make clouds. There are so many different tricks, how to get really good stamped images. you know, because a lot of us still struggle with that. So I thought maybe it'd be nice. It's not a foundation course, but it is really, because it's going right back to how to use brushes, how to make landscapes, how to stamp beautifully, you know. Once we got that under our belt, then we can go down the mixed media gel plate route. But you've got to know that stuff before you can move into the next realm. So I think it's already available on the website. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I will show you exactly what it's all about, and I'll show you what we're going to send you, because there are some bits that we're going to send you as well. A nice booklet that I've written, giving you, you know, like photographic directions and what have you. So I think it'd be good. It's the way forward. It's the way forward for this old bird, and I'm hoping that a lot of you will join me on this journey. We did do some. We've done a few of the online courses already, many of us, when we did the paper collage, the lighthouse, and the viaduct. I've got another one in the pipeline, which is gorgeous. It's my favourite one. But I thought I'd hold fire, because otherwise it gets a bit samey. And it is very different to the other two. It's very beautiful. It's the Glastonbury tour. So hold that thought. I thought maybe we'll wait until after the summer, you know, when the nights are drawing in again and it's getting dark early. I thought that would be a really perfect time, you know, not when the sun's shining, but on a Saturday when it's a bit bleak and miserable outside. We can get together for a whole Saturday afternoon again, because we really enjoy doing that. But I think later in the year we'll do the Glastonbury tour together. Okay. Who says we never went to Glastonbury? Oh, yes, we did. Yeah, so that collage workshop will be later on in the year, but I've already done the job. Yeah, so it's already available, like I say, and that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So, and then Paul, he's already gone up to Hobby Maker. He's gone up there this evening to be there tomorrow. So he avoids the Friday traffic around Birmingham's not savoury. And his shows are at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So he's got a double hour, and then at 7 o'clock as well. And he's got some beautiful new groovy plates. So tomorrow's a big day for us. I think that'll be good. And I'm told that Jane is covering the chat with me tomorrow, which is marvellous, because of course Paul's not there. So that'd be cool. Thank you very much, Jane. Okay. Now let's have a look what we've got. So we've got the colour there. And of course, while I've been chatting, I've been letting that dry a little bit. See, so this is the cool bit. You see how it just stains nicely. See, and then you can go in with a little bit more depth. See, and because it's dry, you see, I can add a little bit more shade. And I'm still using that same eucalyptus colour. It's a different green, isn't it, to the green up there? See? So just add a little bit of shadow. And don't worry if you go over the edge. It's a watercolour. You want it to be a little bit... you want it to be a little bit... See, and if I feel I want to clean my brush, I just do that. I haven't got any water here. This is going to be good. There you go. Am I going to do the original cottage one for those of you who didn't do the retreat? Would you like me to? The cottage one, the watercolour one? I wonder if we'd get any takers for that. I could do that. I could do that. I could do a pre-record. How does that sound? I could do that. Or if you'd like to, we could get together. I'm up for anything. Yeah, we could do that. We could do the cottage as well, if you like to. Do it in the summer sometime. There you go. It's just a lot of work, Sue. That's because I do the pre-record as well, you know. So there's a lot of work involved. And at the moment, life's a bit of a scramble. But yes, happy to do that. Also, I've already done the job, you see. All I've got to do is do the pre-record and then do the actual live session. So I've already done the head work, the composition, and I know all that. So it's just a question of repeating it twice for myself, and I don't mind doing that. So if we can rustle up a crowd to keep me company, happy days. Hands up those of you who would do us a favor and just write yes please if you would join the cottage collage on a Saturday afternoon. There you go. You tell me whether you do that with me, and then I'll let you know whether I'm going to or not. Okay. Right. And Gracie, you can keep your eye on that, can't you, for me, love? Thank you. There we are. See, so now this is where you've got to stop titivating. It's a little bit of depth. Right. And when you just keep going over the same area, you've got to stop. Okay. Yeah. Just say yes or yes, please. And then I'll know. Right. Now, while we're letting those bits dry, we'll address the pink bit. So have I given myself enough room on my mat to do the pink? Let me just get rid of these pencils here, because these little fellas, these ones are B pencils. They're oil-based. See, that's why I did that. So if I turn that around, I've got more room here. So there's the darker pink. There's the lighter pink. And there's the white. The white. Cool. That'll do. Right, and I'll just make sure the green's gone. Good enough. Right, so we're going to go with the white first. And then once we've got the white moving, that will work nicely. Everything all right? Right, and then we're going to bring that in like so. Okay. Like that. Good, well, it looks like the general consensus is that I'm going to do that cottage one. Sounds good to me, actually. I love doing them, And there may be other people that haven't even heard of what we're talking about. So that'll be nice. There you go. I'm just popping that colour in now. The cottage one. The trilogy. Ken wants in shock horror. Shock horror. Whenever I hear shock horror, it reminds me of a situation once. Grace, can we tell the situation about the diner in New York when we were there with a boyfriend of yours once? Can we? Go on, let me. He shall remain anonymous. I'm going to tell him. Right, so I'm going in, Grace, okay? So we were in New York. This is while I'm doing this, okay? We were in New York and we were in a diner, like one of the New York diners. And great, right, I'm going to pull in a little bit of the darker pink with the peachy pink. There you go. So we're getting a really lovely blend, which isn't in the pencil box, but we're making it. Right. So we were with this fella that Grace was dating. And the waiter came up and we'd ordered our food. And Grace said, so the waiter was, he looked quite Indian, didn't he, Grace? Right. and let me get it right. So Grace, she orders her food and then she says, can I please have some mayo on the side, please? Remember I told you she's a big one for the mayonnaise. So she says, please, can I have some mayo on the side, please? So I say, shock horror, right? As you would, shock horror. And the fella that Grace is dating goes, the waiter goes off and he says, how did you know the waiter's name? I thought, no, he's for the high road, and I don't mean the waiter. Yeah, shock horror. How do you know the waiter's name? We were with Paul Church, weren't we, Grace? Paul was there as well. Wasn't that the time when Paul? Yeah, because he was the same bloke. Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? Shock horror. Oh, it's the little things. Grace says he wasn't the brightest bulb in the box, but he was good looking. No, he wasn't the sharpest knife in the box, was he? Oh dear. Right, come on, pink. Let's get these lovely pink flowers going. There's a really beautiful flower shop in Tunbridge Wells, right on the busy main drag as you're driving into Tunbridge Wells from our place. And it's really gorgeous, and they always put everything out on the pavement, you know. And went past this morning again, and it just looks so inviting, you know. And they're always open, so obviously must do a roaring trade. Only trouble is it's such a monkey to park there. It's very, very difficult to park. See how we're getting a nice patch going? Yeah, I do. Grace has just reminded me of the next story. Okay, same holiday. Paul and I had gone to New York together for a week. Okay, Grace still dating the same bloke. We've already had the shock horror experience. How do you know the waiter? And we're walking through busy Manhattan, like packed Manhattan on a Saturday. Can you imagine? Right? There's hundreds of thousands of people, and it's the sun shining. We're milling our way through the crowd, and suddenly this guy, Grace says it was the same day. Definitely the same bloke. This same chap, he's walking along with Grace and me, all of us in a kind of a party, and he suddenly goes, and he puts his arms in front of Grace and me, and he goes, "Stop!" So we both stopped, and then he looks in front of us, and he goes, "What are the chances?" And in front of us, there's this tote bag. Someone's got a tote bag on their shoulder, and it says Clarity Stamps, Pergamano, fresh cut. You know the dark blue bags that we gave everyone at the open days for free? Yeah. And he goes, "What are the chances?" And I said, "It's Paul." And Paul Church had got ahead of us a little bit. And this clown actually thought that there was a Clarity customer just happened to be milling around in the middle of Manhattan on the same Saturday as we were there. What are the chances? I mean, he was doomed, really, Grace. He didn't stand a chance with us lot, did he? Oh, it's all fun and games. Yeah. What are the chances? Oh, Lily and Tilly. Oh, I say, Grace. I once said to a passenger after endorsing his ticket, "There you go." And he looked amazed and said, "How do you know my name?" "Hugo." There, Hugo. Oh, Lily, that's so good. There, Hugo. We had a Hugo worked for us, didn't we, Grace? Do you remember? One of Mark's mates. And then his dad came to work for us for a while. And then when he walked through the door, he said, the father said, they were quite posh, weren't they? And he went, "Hugs, where's Hugs?" And we were speechless because he called his kid Hugs. Yeah. Hugs? He didn't live that one down very quickly. He was at the wedding, wasn't he, Grace? Last September. He went all the way to the wedding. He's one of Mark's best mates, really. He's such a nice fella. I think he's a great bloke, isn't he? Hugs. Hugs. Grace says, She's still talking about the bloke in New York. She says that one didn't last long. No, it didn't, love, did it, that one? There, that pink's looking really good. Happy with that. Happy with that one. How's it going? His name was Boss. I don't believe it for a minute, Lillian. I don't believe it for a minute. Hugo Boss. What, on the bus? Hugo Bus, maybe. So when you were stamping his ticket, were you on the trains or the buses? Lillian. Now I want to know. Now we all want to know. Doesn't this look good? Stop tittying, Barbara. I can feel myself titivating. I'm going round and round. I've got to wait, let it dry, go back. Otherwise, it's just going to end up as a mud. Cool. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that pink now. And I think I'm going to go back. Now I'm going to go to that one. See, so what I'm doing is I'm putting a colour on all of them, and then I'll go back in again. This one, I would say I'm gonna, what colour did I do last time on that one? I went with the peachy pink. Okay, peachy pink. Okay, let's go for it. The peachy pink and the fuchsia colour. So I've got that one. I've got a bit of that one. That was quite strong. Don't need too much of that. And then I'm going to go in with the white. So you can see the whole point of this little exercise is how you use the watercolor pencils, but you don't use them like that because it just wrecks the pencils. Okay. And since it's going to be a while since we get any out of Seoul, I suggest we look after the ones we have got. Don't you, dear friends? Eh? Yeah, you know what I mean. And let's spare a thought for those poor souls. You know, and when I wrote to her and said on a personal note, I'm so sorry to hear about what's going on in your country, you know, and I hope that you and your family are safe. And I always find, you know, we do quite a lot of work with Chinese companies, and you know, because of the dyes and what else do we get from the Chinese? Our folders and dyes and pencils we get from Korea. It's just every now and again, primarily dyes we get in China. And I've said it before. I can't tell you enough how lovely it is to work with the Chinese. They are such, we've never had in all the years we've worked, you know, we've partnered up with Chinese people and Chinese businesses and Chinese companies to do to make products together, you know, things like dyes that you can't make here, or folders and things like that. Honestly, they are such delightful people and so kind, and always they send us Christmas presents and cards and gifts, and just lovely, just absolutely a pleasure to work with, and always on time, always reliable, always thorough, always just considerate, respectful, never had a problem, never been cheated, never been conned, nothing, honestly. And I have to tell you that. And we've dealt with a lot of Chinese companies over the years. Always respectful, always kind, never had a problem. There you go. And I speak from experience. And we still do, and they're still lovely. And if we can't afford that, you know, that, then they work with us, and they work with you. Nothing's too much trouble, and they want to help you. There you go. You can turn that any way you like. Never had a problem with the Chinese business people. So there we are. And with the South Koreans as well, you know, same thing. Lovely people. And the Japanese, same thing as well. Asians, lovely people. When we deal with Japanese partners, you know, just nice people. Never had a problem. Always very respectful. There. Isn't that nice? Right, and I'm going to take a little bit of that one, and I'm just going to roll a little bit of that pink because it's quite... There we go. There we go. Yeah, great. Exactly, Grace. Exactly. I left it unsaid, Mrs. I left it unsaid. And that's the truth, what Grace is, you know. That's the truth, Grace. Right, now. So that's nice. That's that colour. Grace can say it. You can say it. I can't. You live there. That's right. Okay, so that's a nice thing. Gracie says she can say the Americans, however, because she's half American and she loves half the Americans. Gracie, stop it now. I've got to concentrate on my painting. Yeah, so you can pop along this evening if you have faith in me, and you can sign up for the 1, 2, 3 course this evening already. Early bird. Give me a lovely fuzzy feeling that it's going to work. Or you can hang on till tomorrow morning and wait until I tell you more about it. That's entirely up to you. But I'm going to get up at the crack of sparrows and get into work and get that sorted. Because my trusted friend Paul's not there. But that's all right. I'm sure I can handle that. There, you see. So a little bit of watercolour, a little bit of pink. Looking good, isn't it? There, and then it's got to dry. You see, and then when it dries, now I can go in. Right, one more time. Let's go in to the yellow area again now. So I'm going into that yellow, but I don't want it to be quite so yellow. Right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to add a little bit of white to that. And then I'm going to add a little, but because I'm going in over the top, even though I'm adding white, see, it's a combination thing. You add white, but you also add water. So the more water, the more you dilute it. Oh, it's running out now. That'll do though. Okay. See, and then if I add a little bit of, it's like a cream. Look, see, isn't that nice? See how you can add shadow? There you go. So you just bring that in there like so, and it's more of the same, but it just adds a bit of shadow there, like that. We can add a little bit down there as well, and a little bit in there. There, I'm liking the look of this. So on Monday, if you're up for it, we could finish this off because that gives that a chance to dry. It's looking all right though, isn't it? So we'll come back on Monday and we'll bring a little bit more water in because I've run out now. I've got loads of them. Look. I told you I was an addict. I've got another one. Oh, that one's got oil in it. Cool, that one's got glitter in it. I've got it all going on now. Anyway, see what about that one then? We're going to have to get some more water going tomorrow. There it comes. Okay, bit of water. There we are. See, now I can go into a bit more green. Let's get a bit more green going. And then I can add a little bit of shadow there. See, and then I can just a bit of shadow on that edge there as well. And I can't call. Do you know what's calling me now? You know, don't you? Yeah. Honeycomb ice cream. There. I'm going to take a little bit of that darker colour and bring that in as well. Just along that edge there. There. Nice. That looks good. Same there. Take a little tiny bit of that darker colour. Add it to that one. There we go. And then once this is dried on Monday we can go and give it the finishing touches and maybe even add there. That's not looking bad at all, friends, is it? Hey? Now, what was I going to tell you otherwise? I think it's time to stop. That's what I was going to tell you. I think we've done enough. And we've got to let that dry. That's true. And then we'll carry on Monday. And then on Monday afternoon, oh, I know what I wanted to show you. There's one little set of stamps. Right, are you ready? And then I'll love you and leave you. Right, one little set of stamps. So we had to do this. I had to do this. This is for the 1, 2, 3 course. Okay, right. And I thought they've got to be done. So we don't have like elephant stamps. So here are a little set of elephant stamps. Family means everything. You're listening, Grace? We stick together. I'll never forget you. I love you. Now, the thing about these elephants is they work so well, right? And they play together. And Grace has just reminded me to tell you that there is a good reason. I knew why I wanted to talk to you about it now, because if you spend over £50 today, so if you were to enroll for the class or have a little look in the 1, 2, 3 course stuff before midnight tonight, that those beautiful cards, those papers, that pack of 48 designer papers, that's a free gift. So I've got to show you these little elephants because they are so lovely. Let me just show you. I really, Paul's a big fan of elephants. Let me see, I'll take that little baby one. Oh, I know. Da-da. I bet that'll work well. I do like her. See. Sign. Let's have a look on a bit of scrap first. Yeah, a little bit darker. Oh, look. We have more than one. Oh. So does that one hold his tail? Yeah, look. Oh, look. Oh. I get a real kick out of really nice stamps like this. So you've got, they're all different as well. They don't all do the same thing. So you've got dad, mum, baby, got little hearts. So what about that one there then? Okay, let's take that one. Let's see. So we've got different sizes. One of the landscapes, we're going to do 5 cards. Over those 3 sessions I was talking about, I've got 5 cards lined up. And the last card on the 3rd Wednesday, right, which is where we take everything that we've learned. This is how I'm going to pitch it, right? We do this on the day 1. Then on day 2, we take what we did in day 1 and we reinforce it and we do something new. Then in day 3, we take everything that we've learned, reinforce it, go again. And the elephant card, which is the last card, is the one where we've learned everything at that point. Then look, are they having a little kiss? Yeah, go on. Oh, look. Yeah. So the elephants, if you've got all the tree stamps and the tree masks, happy days. But treat yourself to the elephants because they're gorgeous, gorgeous. And I am going to show you a trick, how to use the elephants and make them all leathery. Okay. There you go. Gracie, thank you so much. Gracie says she's obsessed with elephants since she went to India recently. So don't forget about the £50 and the gift. Don't forget about joining in tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Don't forget to go and check out the 1, 2, 3 course for landscapes and stamping that I'm launching tomorrow. And other than that, thank you for your company again. Have a lovely day. Stay safe. And don't forget, keep calm and craft. It's the only way through this game. All right, lots of love. Bye bye. Thanks a lot, Grace, and see you tomorrow, Jane.